Namaste, I am Archana Raghuram. Welcome back to Temples, Books and Science. In the last video, we explored the subtle form of the goddess, which is her mantra swarupam. This subtle form itself is further classified into three levels. At the first level is the Panchadashi mantra. Yet even subtler than Panchadashi mantra is the Kamakala Bijam, the root syllable from which the Panchadashi mantra arises, which we explored in the 88th name, Moola Mantratmika. And ultimately, the subtlest form of the goddess, beyond even mantra, is the Kundalini form, the divine energy residing within each of us. The names, starting from the 90th to 111, delve into this profound Kundalini form. As these names explore the subtlest aspects of the goddess, they are inherently rich with meaning, often beyond the complete grasp of even the most learned scholars. I will strive to unpack them for you to the best of my ability, seeking the grace of the goddess Lalita Tripurasundari to guide me in this exploration. The mantra form we discussed earlier is a bridge to understanding the Kundalini form, as the power of mantra is instrumental in its awakening. Kundalini, often visualized as a coiled serpent at the base of the spine, is considered the primordial life force or the divine energy that lies dormant within each of us. It is the source of our creative power, our spiritual potential, and our connection to the divine. Along the spine, there are 7 major energy centers called chakras. These are not physical organs, but rather subtle energy vortices that govern various aspects of our being. Mooladhara or root chakra located at the base of the spine, Swadhisthana or sacral chakra located in the lower abdomen, Manipura, solar plexus chakra located in the upper abdomen, Anahata, heart chakra located in the center of the chest, Vishuddhi, throat chakra located in the throat, Agnya, third eye chakra located between the eyebrows, Sahasrara, crown chakra located at the top of the head. Each chakra is associated with specific qualities, emotions, and functions. These chakras are interconnected through a network of subtle energy channels called nadis, which act as pathways for the flow of prana, the vital life force energy that sustains all living beings. While ancient yogic texts describe a vast number of nadis, 3 are considered the most significant: Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. These 3 primary nadis originate at the base of the spine and ascend towards the head, playing crucial roles in the distribution of prana and the overall energetic balance of the body. Ida Nadi is situated on the left side of the Sushumna Nadi, and Pingala Nadi is located on the right side of the Sushumna Nadi. Sushumna Nadi, also known as the central channel, is the most significant of the 3. It runs straight up the center of the spinal cord from below the Mooladhara chakra at the base of the spine to the Sahasrara chakra at the crown of the head. Sushumna is considered the channel of spiritual awareness and is the primary pathway through which Kundalini Shakti ascends upon awakening. Kundalini awakening refers to the process of arousing the dormant spiritual energy, Kundalini Shakti, believed to reside coiled at the base of the spine. This awakening is often described as the uncoiling of the serpent-like energy, which then ascends through the Sushumna Nadi, traversing each of the 6 primary chakras until it reaches the crown chakra or Sahasrara at the top of the head, where Shiva is said to reside. As Kundalini rises to meet Shiva at the crown chakra, the individual consciousness merges with the universal consciousness, resulting in a profound experience of oneness. This enlightenment is not merely an intellectual understanding, but a deep experiential realization of the interconnectedness of all things and the true nature of reality. The awakening of Kundalini, therefore, is not simply about experiencing certain sensations, but about achieving a fundamental shift in consciousness and attaining the highest states of spiritual realization. The next 6 names in the Lalita Sahasranamam all share a common thread. They begin with the name Kula. Kulāmṛtaika-rasikā, Kulasanketapalini, Kulangana, Kulaantaḥ-sthā, Kula Yogini. To understand these names, we must first explore the multifaceted meaning of Kula. In Srividya and Tantra, Kula is a complex term with interconnected interpretations encompassing, among other things, lineage, a clan or family mainly representing the lineage of gurus and disciples and the sacred transmission of knowledge, Guru Shishya Parampara. The body as a temple, the human body itself viewed as a sacred space housing divine energies, particularly Kundalini Shakti. The chakras. In some contexts, Kula also refers to 6 chakras from Mooladhara to Agnya. These names, therefore, carry layers of meaning, each interpretation depending on the specific context of Kula being used. Now we move to the 90th name, Kulāmṛtaika-rasikā. This name can be translated as she who is the sole enjoyer of the nectar of Kula, or she who delights only in the nectar of Kula. To fully understand this name, let's break down its components. Kula. In this context, Kula refers to the body, specifically as the home of chakras, where Kundalini Shakti resides and awakens. Amrita. In the context of Kundalini Yoga, Amrita refers to the ecstatic states that arises from the ascent of Kundalini. Eka means one and only, or soul. Rasika means one who enjoys, delights in. Therefore, Kulāmṛtaika-rasikā emphasizes that the goddess is the sole experiencer and the source of the bliss that arises within the body during the awakening and ascent of Kundalini. Let's explore the deeper implications of this name by examining the process of Kundalini awakening and the experience of bliss. When Kundalini Shakti, the dormant energy, is awakened and it rises through the Sushumna Nadi, it is said to activate the chakras and release Amrita. This Amrita is not a physical substance, but a subtle divine fluid of bliss and ecstasy. It's the experience of heightened awareness, joy, and spiritual fulfillment. The term Eka-rasika is central to understanding this name. While external practices might prepare the way, the true experience of Amrita, this divine bliss, is ultimately an internal, deeply personal one. The goddess in her form as Kundalini and Atmasvarupam is not only the source of this bliss, but also the sole experiencer of this inner ecstasy. She is the divine energy that awakens Kundalini and the divine consciousness that receives the resulting ecstasy. This concept of the soul experiencer can be challenging to grasp. However, it is a very important idea in Advaita Vedanta. To understand this better, let's briefly touch upon the 254th name in the Lalita Sahasranamam, Dhyana Dhyatru Dhyeya Rupa. This name means she whose form is meditation, the meditator, and the object of meditation. In Advaita Vedanta, this triad of meditator, Dhyatru, meditation, Dhyana, and object of meditation, Dhyeya, is referred to as Kula. The ultimate goal of spiritual practice is the dissolution of the perceived separation between these 3 entities. It's about recognizing that they are not fundamentally different, but rather aspects of the same unified reality. This profound merging of the experiencer, the experience, and the source of experience is dramatically depicted in the imagery of goddess Chinnamasta. This is a rare and unique depiction of the goddess, not as commonly seen as her other forms. In this form, the goddess is depicted as having severed her own head and holding it in one hand. Blood, representing the divine Amrita, the ecstatic bliss of Kundalini, gushes from her severed neck and pours into her own open mouth. This imagery, though seemingly violent, symbolizes the intense, self-consuming nature of Kundalini's ascent. It's the ultimate act of self-offering, where the individual consciousness, purified and awakened, merges completely with the divine source. The bliss experience is not external but arises from within, from the very core of one's being, as Kundalini's energy pours forth and is consumed by the self. Similarly, in Kulāmṛtaika-rasikā, the goddess as the Atma is the experiencer, the object of experience, and the source of experience. There is no inherent difference between the three. As Kundalini rises, this perceived difference gradually dissolves. And as it dissolves, you, the Atma alone, are the sole experiencer of this ultimate undivided bliss. This intense self-consumption and the resulting ecstatic bliss are what this name Kulāmṛtaika-rasikā describes. Now let's explore the 91st name in the Lalita Sahasranamam, Kulasanketapalini. Sanketha means a sign, a symbol, or a secret. Palini means protector. So putting it together, Kulasanketapalini essentially means she who protects the signs or secrets of Kula. What does Kula mean in this context? The name Kulasanketapalini can be understood in a few interconnected ways. The most common way to think about it is that it refers to the goddess as the protector of sacred knowledge and traditions. Here, Kula means our scriptures. She is the guardian of the powerful truths found in our scriptures and mantras. She makes sure this knowledge isn't misused or misunderstood. This name emphasizes that sharing this knowledge is a sacred responsibility. It's not something to be taken lightly. There is a divine will at work, making sure this wisdom is given out and used in a way it's meant to be. But there's also a deeper layer to this name. In Tantra, the Sushumna Nadi, the central energy channel in our subtle body, is called Kulamayika or the Kula path. In this context, Kula means Kundalini Shakti, the potent spiritual energy coiled at the base of our spine. Here, sankethas refer to the subtle signs, the inner experiences, the profound understandings that come up as Kundalini awakens and travels through the chakras. And the goddess, as Kulasanketapalini, protects this entire transformative inner process. She guards the sacred knowledge associated with this journey. In essence, this name Kulasanketapalini tells us that the goddess is the protector of our bodies as sacred vessels, the guardian of our spiritual traditions, and the preserver of the incredibly powerful and personal journey of Kundalini awakening. It's a reminder that this knowledge is precious, transformative, and under her divine care. Now let's turn our attention to the 92nd name in the Lalita Sahasranamam, Kulangana. Literally, if you break down this name, Kula means lineage or family and Angana signifies a respectable woman. So at its most basic level, Kulangana can be interpreted as a lady from a noble or cultured family. But there's more to it than that. Angana implies a wife, someone deeply devoted to her husband, and that gives us another layer of meaning. This name points to her Pativratyam. The goddess is Mahapativrata, inseparable from Shiva, with her focus solely on him. We have seen several names that emphasize her Pativratyam, like Kamesha Baddhamangalya Sutra Shobhita Kandara and Kamesha Jnata Saubhagya Marda Orudvayanvita. Names that symbolize her unwavering focus on Shiva, the Supreme Consciousness. Even as Kundalini Shakti, her entire being is directed towards union with Shiva in the Sahasrara Chakra. However, Kulangana holds an even deeper meaning. Recall our earlier discussion of Kulamayika as Sushumna Nadi, the central energy channel. So Kulangana can also be understood as she who is the Chaitanyam, the divine consciousness flowing through the Kula path, the Sushumna Nadi. Just as Kulangana, a respectable woman of the Kula, is the pride and glory of her lineage, so too the goddess as Kundalini is the crowning glory of the Kula path, the Sushumna Nadi, illuminating it with her divine presence. And then there is one more crucial interpretation. Sri Vidya, the tradition Lalita Devi embodies, is often referred to as a Rahasya Vidya, a secret knowledge. Sri Vidya is a highly esoteric tantric discipline, its teachings and practices carefully guarded and revealed only to qualified initiates. Remember the name Kulasanketapalini, the protector of the secret knowledge, that is Sri Vidya. Well, Kulangana proclaims that the goddess is Sri Vidya, the very embodiment of this knowledge. Just like a respectable woman keeps herself veiled and known only to her husband, Sri Vidya is revealed only to those who truly belong, to those who are initiated and part of the Kula, the spiritual lineage, the Guru Shishya Parampara. These names, Kulāmṛtaika-rasikā, Kulasanketapalini and Kulangana, work together beautifully. The 90th name, Kulāmṛtaika-rasikā, depicts the ultimate union and the resulting bliss. Then Kulasanketapalini emphasizes the protection of the sacred knowledge leading to that union. And now Kulangana tells us that this knowledge is not for everyone. It's a secret revealed only to those who are ready and who are part of the Kula. It's a progression from the attainment of the ultimate spiritual bliss to the safeguarding of the path to that bliss and the understanding of who is truly entitled to walk that path. The interconnectedness of these names highlights the importance of both personal spiritual experience and the role of tradition and lineage in the path of spiritual realization. Let's now move to the 93rd name, Kulāntaḥ-sthā. Kulāntaḥ-sthā literally means she who resides in the middle of the Kula, or more simply, she who dwells within the body. Now this might seem like a repetition of the previous name, and you might wonder why the Vagdevis are repeating themselves. But this is only a superficial translation. What each of these names does is try to take us deeper and deeper into the meaning of Kula. This name in particular delves into a really profound meaning of Kula, one that touches the core of Shakteyam and Advaita Vedanta. This is a difficult concept to explain and comprehend, but I felt that this name will be incomplete without elaborating on this meaning. Here, Kula specifically means a group of three things: Matra, Meya and Miti. Matra means the knower, the subject, the individual consciousness that perceives and seeks to understand. Think of this as the I that experiences the world. Meya means the known, the object of knowledge, the external or internal reality being perceived. This is what the I is trying to understand. And Miti means the means of knowing, the process of cognition itself. The act of discerning, analyzing and understanding that connects the knower and the known. This is how the I understands the world. This fundamental triad, knower, known and the process of knowing, is also referred to as Kula. It represents the very structure of knowledge and experience. It suggests that knowledge isn't out there, separate from us, but is created through the dynamic interplay of these three aspects. This is just another version of the 254th name of the Lalita Sahasranamam that we just spoke about, Dhyana Dhyatru Dhyeya Rupa, where the goddess herself is identified with meditation, the meditator and the object of meditation. Now the name Kulāntaḥ-sthā, directly translating to she who resides in the middle of Kula, indicates goddess Lalita's central position within this triad. It proclaims that the goddess is present in the middle, between the knower, Matra, and the known, Meya, in the form of Miti, the very process of knowledge. She is not merely an external observer or a passive object of knowledge. Instead, she is the active principle that enables understanding, the indispensable bridge between the individual consciousness seeking knowledge and the reality that is to be comprehended. At a simpler yet profound level, this name proclaims that she is the embodiment of all knowledge. It is because of her presence, her active principle within us, that anything at all is known. There is much more to this name, but I will pause here and we will move on to the next name. Alright, let's focus now on the 94th name in the Lalita Sahasranamam, Kulini, which means she who is the union of Shiva and Shakti, Shiva Shakti-Karupini. The union of Shiva and Shakti is indeed a central theme within the Tantra tradition. Here, Kula often signifies Shakti, the divine feminine energy, while Akula represents Shiva, the divine masculine consciousness. Their inseparable union is known as Kula. So Kulini means she is the personification of Kula, the divine union of Shiva and Shakti. This means that she is both the manifest world Shakti and the consciousness from which the world arises, Shiva. To understand this better, think about it like this. Shiva is like the sun, the unchanging ground of being, while Shakti is like sunlight, the dynamic energy that awakens and illuminates the world. Sunlight is not separate from the sun, it's the sun's very Shakti, its power. This divine couple, Shiva and Shakti, represent the fundamental polarity inherent in existence. Their union is seen as the source of all creation, sustenance and dissolution, as well as the path to liberation from the limitations of duality. The Kulamarga, the Kula path, is the experiential practice of transcending the perceived separation between the manifest world and pure consciousness and merging with that consciousness. It's about recognizing that this manifest world is ultimately not separate from Brahman, that Shiva and Shakti are one and the same. This realization is very, very important because it leads to Jivan Mukti, also known as liberation, which is the goal of all spiritual endeavors. And this at its heart is what Kulini signifies. The goddess as the embodiment of this non-dual reality, the unified principle of Shiva and Shakti. This is the core message that is woven throughout the Lalita Sahasranamam, the truth that the hymn ultimately unveils. That is why the penultimate name, the 999th name, is Shiva Shakti-Karupini. It means she whose form is the oneness of Shiva and Shakti, which serves as the hymn's powerful conclusion. To realize Kulini, to experience this oneness, is to attain liberation. Now let's move to the 95th name in the Lalita Sahasranamam, Kula Yogini. This name, Kula Yogini, carries a rich tapestry of meanings, and to understand it, we need to unpack its various layers. First, let's look at a basic interpretation. As we have discussed, Kula can refer to lineage or family. In that sense, Kula Yogini could be understood as the goddess associated with a Kula or a Kula Devata. In our tradition, Kula Devata worship is very important, and that's why we invoke them during every significant life event. The forms of these Kula Devatas may vary, but they are all ultimately embodiments of goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari. But Kula Yogini goes much deeper than that. In the context of spiritual practice, Kula Yogini embodies the yogic process of awakening and guiding the Kundalini Shakti. Remember how we talked about Kulamarga as the Sushumna Nadi, the central energy channel? Well, the Divine Mother in the form of Kundalini reaching Shiva in the Sahasrara is termed Kula Yoga. And since the goddess is both the goal and the path of this yoga, she is known as Kula Yogini. This journey involves yogic practices like asanas, pranayama, mudras, mantra recitation and meditation, all of which are instrumental in arousing Kundalini and facilitating its ascent. So, Kula Yogini encapsulates this dynamic movement of energy from the foundational Kula, Mooladhara, to the transcendent Akula, Sahasrara, guided by yogic discipline. At a deeper level, this name points to a fundamental principle, the union of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is the static consciousness, the unchanging ground of being, while Shakti is the dynamic energy, the power of manifestation and action. Think of Shiva as the canvas and Shakti as the vibrant colors that bring the painting to life. And Kula Yogini in this context is another way of saying she whose form is the oneness of Shiva and Shakti, or Shiva Shaktyaika-rupini. But it conveys this oneness with a slightly different nuance than the previous name, Kaulini. Kula itself takes on a broader meaning here. It represents both the body at a microcosmic level and the universe at the macrocosmic level. Why? Because Kula fundamentally means a group, a collection of entities sharing similar traits. Our body, for instance, is a collection of Kulas. It's made up of countless groups, cells forming tissues, tissues forming various organs, and so on. These are all disparate, seemingly separate Kulas. What unifies them? What makes them a coherent whole? It's the consciousness, awareness, the underlying yogini that connects and animates these diverse groups. Yoga is derived from the root yuj, meaning to unite, to bring together, to connect. So yogini means that which unifies. Similarly, the universe is a vast kula, a multitude of groups and entities. And the unifying factor in all this diversity is also the goddess, the divine consciousness that pervades everything as existence, awareness, and bliss. Satchit Ananda. So, you can see how the meaning is similar to Kaulini but with a different emphasis. While Kaulini highlights the state of oneness, Kula Yogini emphasizes the unifying principle, the force that brings about that oneness. The manifest world, Kula, is Shakti, and the consciousness that pervades and sustains this Kula is Shiva. And Kula Yogini is she who embodies this unity, this non-duality. And so we have reached the end of our exploration of this fascinating group of 6 names, all beginning with Kula. These names introduce us to the goddess's Kundalini Swarupam. As I mentioned in the introduction, these names focusing on the goddess's subtlest form carry deep and multi-layered meaning. To fully understand them, you need to have a deep knowledge of Sri Chakra and Sri Vidya. I humbly acknowledge that I have only scratched the surface of these beautiful names. I hope you will take this as a starting point to research further into each of these names and understand their multiple dimensions. Please do share your discoveries and thoughts with me in the comments section. Thank you for traveling with me on this journey of discovery. Please do subscribe, like, and share this video with like-minded people. May the grace of the goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari guide you on your journey of self-discovery and transformation. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Namaste.